Hello everyone, I'm Stefan Lindberg-Jones, your host at the Head Guy podcast, and I'm thrilled to have the incredible Reena Naser with me today. In this episode, Reena shares her fascinating experiences living in Sweden for 4 years, where the flexible work culture left a lasting impact on her. We then dive into her inspiring projects in Qatar centered around building multicultural communities and promoting sustainability. Join us for an enlightening conversation as Reena discusses her passion for creating positive change through workshops and awareness campaigns, and her quest for collaborators to shape a more interconnected world. This is the Head Guy podcast, where real stories and impactful journeys take center stage. So Reena, that's a great way of starting the conversation, is about your LinkedIn page. Why? What was wrong with it before that you decided to change it?
It wasn't wrong, but I think it did not really convey the correct messages and the correct experiences and my strength in each skill. I think I just really trimmed it and let's say pruned it and polished it. It's not that I abolished it completely, but I think I needed to do it in a way that really conveyed the relevance to me, to my personality and my experience. So I'm happy with it now.
But I'm curious, what was it before? What was it? How was it made up that you decided, and why now did you decide to, right, now's the time to?
Because actually it's the LinkedIn, I think it's a live platform. So you keep adjusting, you keep editing and doing stuff according to your latest experiences and latest projects, and you add in projects, pictures and everything. So I thought that I really want to project all of my skills in a very professional way, in a very articulated manner, and just for it to reflect really what I got out of each, what I have, the strength that I have in each skill, and why is it important, that I have these skills, or why is it important what's the importance of the certain experience or the certain skill or the certain, let's say acquired experience that I got out of everything. And I think now that I'm trying to establish my career in Qatar, I really want to highlight a lot my personality also. I think my strength. I'm a people person, and I think the connection is really important to highlight, because it's all about people in whatever I do, either in social sustainability, in the integration, in the inclusion. It's all about really people, and I really wanted to highlight this. And I think it's very important for people to see, because it's really about people. It's not really only accomplishment and accolades. I have no accolades, but it's just about really how certain skill or how certain experience actually is highlighted and enhanced because of the people that I come across and because of the way I connect with the people. And I think it's very important because as a person, I value people. I found my passion. This is my calling. And I found that maybe out little too late. I don't know, but I've done it.
Never too late.
I've done it all my life, and I never realized that this is my forte and this is my passion, is people really. When I'm around people and when I'm with people, I feel exhilarated. I feel very emancipated and empowered, And I think that came to me not as a revelation, but I think recently, I would say when I was in Sweden maybe 2 years ago, I started looking and asking myself. And in Sweden, you have people who can help you actually vägledare, which are leaders of the way. If you don't really know where you want to go, it's like a mentor, or a coach. I would say a coach, more of a coach. And that was the question that everybody kept asking me. What makes you tick? What is your passion? And I was just thinking, all my life, I was an interior designer for so many years. I like design. It's not really about the design. It's not really about the environmental studies, because I really wanted to go there and experiment and learn something new and learn about sustainability. but it's actually people that make me tick, that make me really happy. And I think this is something that I really need to highlight in my experience.
Nice. I'm just curious, when you were doing the LinkedIn, did you, once you had, put everything down the way you wanted it, did you then open it up to get some feedback? I'm just curious because, the way we see things and the way we communicate might not be received in the right way. So were you curious just to...
I think I got more people interested in my profile. I saw that the viewing is, I'm not all about rating, I don't like media monitoring and rating. I don't care how many likes I get,
exactly.
That's not it. But I started noticing that people started approaching me more, and people started getting more curious, becoming more curious about me and what I do.
Yeah.
So that made me feel that I did something right, I'm on the right track. That maybe it wasn't as organized before, or it wasn't as articulated. It's not about using buzzwords, really. It's really about putting it clear. I'm a very clear person. I like things to be laid out clearly. I like clarity in everything. I like to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what's ahead of me. So I think when I did it in this systematic way, in an organized and clear way, I think it made sense to people, and it was easier to read. It had more flow to it, and possibly it was... maybe people felt it was readable and believable, I think it had a little bit of more credibility to it. It was done more professionally, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where are you? Where are you at now?
Oh, I'm just at the beginning. Back to square one? No, okay. I wouldn't say back to square one. I actually value every single experience. Somebody a long time ago told me there is no such thing as a bad experience. Experience is experience. You accumulate, you learn, you go on. Actually, I found my calling, and this is why I'm happy, because I really want to do stuff with people, and I really want to build communities. I felt that this is the right thing to do. In my mind, I had two projects. When I first came to Qatar, I had to settle in. I had to wait for my residency before I approach anybody, to really feel like I'm here. Yeah. So once that was done, I started...
Well, how long did that take you to feel settled
I think maybe 6 months, or 5 to 6 months, maybe a little bit. And I started thinking, if I want to do something, I have to know what's going on. So I started going to all these startup meetings, networking, women's this, women's that, a lot of networking events. And I started meeting very interesting people, actually. And that actually, when it all sank in, I said, I have to do this. I have to work on my two projects. I have two projects in mind, and they are both related to social sustainability, because sustainability is about social, environmental, and economic. But the social aspect is the least tackled in all of them. The environmental, you can do the natural science, the calculations, the economy, the calculations, and money in, money out, circular economy and what have you. The social is the most complicated, because it has to deal with people, And I said, this is where my niche is. This is what I like. So basically, social sustainability, I wanted to approach it in two different projects. The first one that has to do with integration of people. I was looking around, I'm meeting people. There are 110 embassies in Qatar. So we're talking about 110 nations, nationalities, plus the Qatari, so 111. Okay? Yeah. I'm like, this is a richness. How many languages? I don't have the calculation, but I would assume roughly 50 languages. My God, how rich is this combination? And how can these people meet and interact and mingle? There has to be a platform for them. And that's why I started thinking of my Language Agora project. That's project number one. I said, this is easy to put together. It doesn't really require a lot of time, maybe the time frame. It's doable, manageable. I can do a one-man job. That's fine. And I started thinking about that. So all along, I was like, okay, let's do the logo and the objectives. The objective is to bring people together, really. It aims to have this melting pot of nationalities, the diversity, to celebrate this diversity, bring it together. Let's have people come together, interact, maybe have a good conversation and practice languages in different languages. And bringing each time a host to talk about their own culture for maybe just roughly 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, nothing more. Nothing too fancy, too, presentation skills, no. Just any regular person. Anybody would be proud to talk about their own culture, their own language. And how language connects, to the culture. To me, it's the entryway of any culture. You want to know a culture, you learn the language, you're almost there. You can easily find out about the culture. Language is a big part of the culture. And who better than the native people, The Indian will talk about the languages in India, and to me, language is not only the verbal. There's a lot of it, non-verbal. There is the gestures. There is the body language. There are the sounds. There are the gests, the looks, and what have you. There's a lot of. It's a whole world out there. A language is not only what we speak as well. So I wanted to introduce that every time to make a theme, and have this guest come and talk to us a little bit in a very light way. And then we'll break into the different language tables. We can practice. There are some icebreakers.
All right, okay.
And then, who knows where the conversation goes, and who knows how many words you're going to learn or how many words you're going to practice. It doesn't matter. People can actually, speak a word or two, learn a word or two. It's just really about interaction. And also networking, interaction, socializing, making friendships, knowing people, learning something about other people on the table. They're complete strangers having perfect conversation. And my pre-launching was on 10/10/2023. And it was great because I knew everybody. I invited people to come because I wanted to feel safe and secure. And I wanted people to give me their honest opinion and their honest feedback. So nobody knew anybody else, but everybody ended up interacting, at least on the same table, And I said, this is really free. This is, you can move if you don't like, you can change your table. There are snacks, you can go walk and just grab your coffee, tea, and bites at any time. No, really, it's not really a classroom. It's not really a language course. It's a safe and inclusive environment where people feel safe to converse with a stranger, maybe learn a little bit about each other, what they do, or anything, any sort of conversation. There are no there are no restrictions. So I think that went well because I knew everybody. I had 22 turn up, and nobody knew anybody. But they ended up, chatting and talking and feeling comfortable. And that's the objective, really.
I'm just curious, where did this idea come from in the first place? Where did that light bulb moment come from?
Actually, I've had this idea for a very long time. When I was in Sweden, I studied, of course, I did my master in environmental study and sustainability science. My thesis was about social sustainability in a smart city project in Malmö called the Green Building. And I conducted also focus groups. I conducted interviews, deep interviews and what have you, and I did conclusions and everything, and the thesis turned out very well, and I got a very high grade on that one. So I'm like, this is nice, I like that. What I did later, I started learning the language, and I'm like, okay, I am so bored. I don't know anybody. I'm alone with my daughter, I'm like, okay, what
Really?
do we do? Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm a social person. Can you imagine how hard it must be? I had a few friends here and there that I would see sporadically. I would do things. I would go to workshop and participate in whatever program they had and try to find money. And then I said, no, this is it. I found out about an NGO that was actually mainly concerned with sports and integrating people through sports, but they had social sustainability programs. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can volunteer. And I found out about them, and I started volunteering full time. It was like amazing. I started volunteering in, that's how, the way I found them is that I wanted to teach my daughter how to cycle, to do bicycle. And they conducted free classes for the people who are newcomers or who want to learn.
Just to learn how to ride a bike?
Yes, exactly. I didn't teach my daughter, unfortunately. I never had the chance to. I know how to ride a bike, she didn't.
Well, don't even ask my children about teaching them to ride a bike, because they think I'm a monster, because I just can, to me, it's simple, or, just listen to Dad and just follow the instructions. And then they'd be doing something completely, and I would just have this internal rage just literally erupt through me, and they were just like, oh. So even my oldest, we were practicing around a lake. He fell off, I literally got the bike and I literally threw the bike into the lake. They love telling these stories because they don't ever, because they're getting to an age where, you know, it's about learning to drive, and they went, no way, you're not getting in the car, Dad. You're totally staying away.
Yeah.
So yes, you found a place to.
Yes, I found a place. It was just all by chance because I was asking and I was seeing, okay, what activities do they have? And that's how I actually knew about what they did. I didn't know what. I always thought it was about basketball because you always hear the name connected to the basketball. And I'm like, really? You do these things? You have so many social events? I'm like, okay, I'm in. And my daughter got to learn how to ride a bike because of that, thankfully. She didn't finish off the Red Cross, theory part. She's like, this is way too much. I don't want to do this. That's enough. And then I said, okay, I want to volunteer. I speak already 4 languages. Maybe I can help out, I like to do stuff with people, even with ladies. They do a lot of also projects for the newcomers, the asylum seekers and the refugees, and also the international community in Lund. So I said, you can fit me either in this category or that category. I'm fine with both. So I actually conducted an English course for adults, Arabic-speaking adults who don't speak English. And then there were some kind of like a homework, after-school homework for English for kids and teenagers to help them in their English homework. Because a lot of them didn't come from countries where they learned English. Yeah. So we just, after school, they would come and we would sit together and give them worksheets and talk and blah, blah, depending on
So even though they were in Sweden, they were being taught English. English was
Yes, because in Sweden, they actually teach English in schools.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are coming, like especially the people who came from Syria, Afghanistan, and Turkey, they did not have that within their education as children,
But do they not think it's more important to teach Swedish first and then English?
But they know Swedish. They go to Swedish schools.
Okay, right.
So they needed help with the English because they didn't learn it from, whatever their background where they came, or they needed extra help, or the parents don't know how to teach them, or things like that. So we provided these läxahjälp or help in homework, in English. Also, I actually, that was not my project, but my project was to teach the Arabic-speaking adults English, and I did a course. But since this is all free and volunteer, a lot of people don't have a sense of commitment. So it started really diminishing at the end. So I said, it's not conducive. And then there is something as a setup that they do, the language cafes, where people get together and get to speak languages, and it's all based on volunteer work. So there are volunteers, and that was really the richness. And every 6 months you'd get in new interns and new volunteers.
Okay.
So that was actually the start. And I started my own, actually I managed the first one in the Ideon City, which is the Innovation Center in Lund.
Yeah.
So that was geared more towards the people who are working in the Innovation Center, so more the professional people, the more of the adults, or the Erasmus Plus interns who come. So that was kind of a little bit on a maybe I would say different not different caliber, but different clientele, I would say, and that was very exciting to me.
So was that then that you got that idea? Was it around that time?
No. When I was there, after that, I really wanted to do something that had to do with culture. And I actually did a proposal to a couple of places, to the municipality, to one of the European funded NGOs there. I said, I want to do a cultural exchange hub. And I did that, and I did a presentation, but nobody actually did anything about it. And I said, I can conduct that, I can do this.
I'm surprised because Sweden has taken on a lot of refugees.
Yeah.
And there are all these different cultures in the mix.
Yeah.
So having something like what you were suggesting would be a great way for understanding between communities, rather than, we're in this community and we don't know anything about this community and we just stay on this side and you stay on that side.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't really find any encouragement. They're like, okay, but you can go talk to there is already a cultural center in Lund. Go talk to them and see what happens. There was no seriousness taken, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I did not project the serious idea. I mean, I had a plan. I had a presentation, a
I'm
full-fledged
sure I'm sure you did.
I'm like, I want to contact the embassies to get help, you know, with the material and everything. I think I was just not taken seriously, or they did not want to do funding for something. I have no idea.
Okay.
So that idea was in the back of my mind, and I really had a lot of things, you know, in my head. I'm like, okay, we can have talent shows, you know, we can actually encourage the kids to do stuff.
Yeah.
The embassies can come and help. Maybe they would actually pitch in with whatever material they have, or food or films. And I'm like, okay, we can have, could be a celebration of the multicultures in Lund, especially, you know, Lund is a university town, and it is quite international. So I wasn't taken seriously, and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this is not the right place. So when I came here, I said, I have to do something.
So why did you come here? I just want to stop you.
I came here because my husband is here.
Okay.
And I was here before I went to Sweden. And I was actually trying to see if we can actually live there and do something there. And even during COVID, my husband came over and we were trying to establish an engineering company. And he says, I don't see any prospects. You know,
really?
This is really not it.
So you came from here to go to Sweden?
To Sweden. I went to university there for the first 2 years. Then I started learning the language
and your husband
for a job.
And your husband thought, I'll come see how the land lay.
Yeah, he even sold his car here, you know, during the COVID, because they were doing online stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, maybe this is an idea, you know, maybe we see prospects or possibilities. But then after 6 months, he said, this is it, I'm going back. And then we have to go to work physically. I'm not going to drop everything and come to we didn't see a lot of prospects, actually. No, I don't know if it's the timing because of COVID. I don't know if it's the atmosphere, the general atmosphere. The idea was really, really very much welcome by the department. What they call it, Arbetsförmedling. It's like the work department that you have to present a business plan to them. And actually they liked it, but it just did not feel right, you know. And I'm like, he's like, I can't really find a job here, and I can't do a business with engineering here. So this is it, you know.
Okay.
And I started saying, okay, I'll wait and I see what prospects I have. I have to learn the language. If you're in a country, you want to work there, you really need to learn the language. I started learning the language. And throughout my volunteer work, I started improving, you know, because you have to deal with people who don't speak English.
Yeah.
Although you can get by in Sweden without Swedish. It's not proper, and I don't encourage it, because it's really, if you're in a country, you have to learn the language. But you can survive, and people have survived, especially Arabic and English, because most of the services are conducted by Arabic-speaking residents, you know.
Yeah.
And all the departments and all the authorities, they speak fluent English. So really, initially, if you don't want to work if you're not working unless you're working in an international company, then if you are working in an international atmosphere, you don't really need the Swedish.
Right. Okay.
You know, in this way.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, because I'm not an advocate of that. I think people should learn.
Yeah.
But I started learning the language. I started improving. I started knowing more places, people, things. But really, I couldn't go further. I mean, I would send CVs, nobody would answer me. I didn't get any interview, and then I said, okay, why don't I just start thinking of project? And that's where my Kulturart, I called it Kulturart project, came, and I started, you know, asking people around, and then I think it's just I started hitting a dead end, and then I decided this is it. You know, my daughter was getting older; she's away from her dad. I didn't feel it was appropriate because she's a teenager. I was really. It was just, I was really not sure that this is, you know, where I wanted to be. And I was starting to get tired. I said, we need to be together as a family.
Yeah.
So I came back here to Qatar, just right before, a little bit before the World Cup. And actually, it was funny because during the World Cup, we had no tickets. We couldn't get any tickets. I had to leave. I'm like, okay, they don't want me here.
Oh, yeah. So you didn't have a resident permit or anything?
No, because they stopped to give. I mean, we applied. It's like, so sorry, no way. We're too busy with the World Cup now. You have to wait. I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I understand. So I went to see my mom. I spent the holidays with my mom in winter, and then I came back in January. That's where we moved in, and we started settling in. And
but your husband was still working.
Yeah, he's working.
He was working.
Yeah,
here,
he's working. I was like
for you and your daughter, you were just
going back and forth, back and forth, entry and re-entry, entry and re-entry.
Wow.
So we kind of memorized, Abu Dhabi and Dubai airports. But that's fine, that's part of it. So I started thinking, okay, and now I can't do much. And I was really tired because when I left Sweden, I had to pack and do everything on my own. So I was exhausted.
And on that note, I just want to ask, so you were in Sweden how long?
4 years, 4 and something years.
Had you ever lived in the Northern Hemisphere?
No.
So
no, I mean, I've lived in the States. I went to study my BA in the States.
Okay, but I mean, Sweden is quite north, especially winter. How did you deal with the whole winter?
When I was 18, I went and studied in Utah. I was at Brigham Young University, and there's like, I was there in January, end of December. Wow, snow. It was wow at the time, when you're 18. It was lovely.
Yeah, when you're younger.
Like,
you love snow, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is nice, this is fun.
Yeah.
I think it's not the snow, it's just really the darkness that killed me.
Yeah.
Because I never appreciated the sun. I always tried to stay away from the sun because it's just too much.
Yeah.
But when I was there, I'm like, I need to see brightness. The day is gray.
Yeah.
And that really gets to you. And the winter blues, people can actually feel them there.
Yeah. So how did you deal with it? How?
Actually, I was just decided to always have a walk, to do some exercise maybe, to go out, see friends. And then I would call it a day. I would come back to pick my daughter up from school, come back, had dinner, sit together for a while, watch TV and sleep by 8 o'clock because I really wanted the day to end very quickly. So I'm like, okay, let's move to the next day. I didn't think much about it.
You didn't get one of these special lights that,
I tried, it didn't work.
Oh, really?
I'm like, okay, what is this? This is very annoying. Okay, why is it like this? I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 2 of them, one for me, one for my daughter. I don't think we used them at all. So I think for me, because I'm a positive person by nature, I tried not to think about this, but really it does get to you. And the minute I had a chance to go somewhere warm, I would do that. Yeah. I would just escape. Like I said, I just try not to think about it. I just kept myself busy. The first 2 years went as a breeze because I was so much focused with university.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I was in school all day long. I had to drop off my daughter to her school, go to university, come back, pick her up, go home, cook, make dinner, blah, 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 buy stuff, and then go study the whole night. So I was like 2 years busy. I didn't feel like I was living in Sweden because I didn't know anything, I was just going to school, going to the grocery, running my errands, paying my bills and what have you. But then once I started going to the language school, once I started doing the volunteer work and mixing with people, that's where I started getting exposed.
Yeah.
I would say I have to really be thankful because this experience has been an eye-opener for me. I actually got to witness how flat management works, how well flat management works. I have never seen such trusting atmosphere, even at work, like I've seen in Sweden.
Yeah.
You don't have a boss who comes and hovers over you the whole time asking you, what is done? What have you done? Blah, blah, blah. They trust that you can do the work and you do the work. You don't have to be, they did the online thing way before COVID. You don't have to be in the office to do the work. If you had an errand to run, if you had something to do with your kids, if you wanted to travel and or sit at home and work, that was a possibility. I've never seen that before, And I think this is so humane because in most parts of the world, to be able to do that, you have to lie. You say, I am sick today.
Yeah, no,
I can't move, in a lot of ways. But that's very humane, and that's really, they feel it is really the right thing to do. It's your right if you want to spend more time with your kids, if your kid is sick or if you have to go as a family to do something, you get the things done. As long as you get it done, you hand it in, then you're fine.
That is it. That is perfect. That's the way I operate here. As long as the job gets done, I don't care where you're doing it.
This works perfectly for people who like to work and want to work, and also for people who don't work. So it's a win-win situation.
Well, exactly. And when you say you're not used to, what was, from your background, what have you experienced in the past?
To be honest with you, on a personal level, I'm a very responsible person. I grew up being responsible with studying and everything.
Oh, no,
in
I
my
hear
life.
that. I see that.
So basically, I never waited for people to come and ask me. I never waited for people to come and tell me what to do. I always, I take initiative.
Yeah, but you must have worked in those kind of
Yeah,
environments.
oh yeah. I mean, all my life. Very bureaucratic, very institutional. Really, it's. I would say it's annoying because sometimes we are humans. You don't feel like working, you know. I don't want to go to work. That's why a lot of times I worked on my own. I had my own job, my own office. I had my own practice, my design practice, because I know how to organize myself. And sometimes, like, okay, I feel like going out and grabbing a coffee with my friend. You know, today I don't feel like going to the office, and then I would end up like the whole night maybe working.
Yeah, but that was on your own time, your own way of thinking. Yeah.
And I think this is why I have more of an entrepreneurial mindset than an employee mindset, because I like to do things my own way also. But I think it's there, you know, in most parts of the world. I have never seen this anywhere else aside from Sweden. But when I saw that, it was so admirable, you know, because there is a trust factor, and that's very important, you know, because when they trust you, you mean that you feel responsible and you really want to be up to this responsibility.
Well, you feel responsible, but then you feel valued as well.
Exactly. And you feel like you can do stuff, you can live your life. There's a work-life balance that is amazing.
Absolutely.
So I think this is very important. And I like the fact that actually in Sweden, even my daughter has experienced that at a very early age, how independent the kids become. You know, the Arabs tend to pamper their kids. We always think they're babies, you know, up until they are, you know, they grow mustaches and what have you. So like we still treat them as babies. No, the kids there, I think the school does a good job with actually teaching them life skills. They have cooking classes for both. There is no gender difference.
No.
Both boys and girls have to learn how to do carpentry, how to do sewing, they have to music, they have to do cooking class, you know, and they actually distribute the tasks, you know, part of the class cooks, the other part cleans.
Yeah.
So basically they teach them life skills. And that's very important because, I mean, and that's really valuable.
Oh, so absolutely. No. We're trying to do that at the moment with our teenager.
So basically, I mean, I've seen things, I would say, that are really, really have been eye-openers to me. And I think they're very admirable. The experience has to be, you know, there's a lot of negative and positive things, but I like to concentrate on the positive things that I can apply, that I can learn from, you know?
I feel it. I feel the energy. So
yeah.
I feel, you know, you came away learning a lot, experiencing a lot, and then you arrive on the shores of Qatar with, you know,
enthusiasm
and let's go.
Yeah. It's not the fact that I feel it's too late for me. I don't think anything is too late.
No,
I think everything falls into the right time frame.
For the right time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. I have so much energy. I have so many things to do.
I feel it. I'm feeling it.
I have so many things to do. I really want to do good things.
Yes.
So coming back to my project, the other project.
Yes.
I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
I was going to say, behind all this, you know, you've got the enthusiasm, you've got the energy, etc. Is there a business plan behind all this as well?
Yes,
Okay.
Definitely. Like I said, I had two projects mainly in my head, and that really everything simmered throughout the summer when I was away on vacation and didn't have to cook or clean. I was at my mom's being pampered, you know. I'm like, I had the luxury to think, to use my brain cells for creativity purposes and entrepreneurship. So I'm like, okay, I want to do these two things so badly. I want to do the integration and integration through culture and language project. That's my baby. And I really want to do the social sustainability, which actually is about sociocultural changes towards sustainable practices. This is what I want to advocate. This is what I want to, I need to raise the awareness for the need to actually become more sustainable. People tell me, you're crazy, you know, nobody cares. I'm like, no, they have to care at some point. If you keep telling people and relating the same message over and over, it has to click in. You have to start from from all aspects. It can't be all, top down from the government.
No.
And it can't be all bottoms up. It has to be both.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do. I want to actually do like awareness campaigns, so people can become more sustainable in their day-to-day slice of life. It doesn't really take a lot of things. You can just adopt one or two behaviors that you want to do and be consistent.
Well, give us an example. What are you talking
like
about?
for instance, actually, it's really simple. I'm not reinventing the wheel.
Okay.
Okay. It's like, why on earth do you have to keep the lights on even if you don't pay the electricity bill? Why do the lights have to be switched on the whole time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Public transportation. Now Qatar has a lot more potential. Carpooling. Why do you have to go with, your neighbor has a car, you have a car, 3-4 neighbors, they're going to the same direction or the same destination. Why don't you carpool? Why do you have to keep the tap of water running? These really simple practices that our parents and grandparents used to do.
Yes.
I don't think our grandparents lived in such excess of things. They had just enough, or scarcity, and they were fine with it. Why do I have to overconsume, overbuy?
But you're here in Qatar, where we have access to everything.
It's okay.
So how are you going to educate?
I think there has to be done in different, maybe I would say in parallel directions. You have to tackle the family. The family is the essence, the nucleus of everything, okay, at home practices. You have to tackle the schools. Then you have to tackle maybe the extended family, the neighbors. It's like a circle within a circle until you hit the whole society. Okay? Then the workplace and the university and the workplace and then the community, and then everybody starts knowing. Sustainability didn't come to Sweden in a day, overnight. It took them a whole generation. The definition of a generation is 33 years. So until they become fully recyclable, and it becomes like a second nature. I know how to distribute, how to recycle everything. It took a whole generation, and now you can't fathom, but they can't actually. They can't throw the trash without recycling.
No, absolutely. It's I go on holiday to Sweden most summers, and yes, seeing that transition and it is a generational thing, because I remember as a kid, when we had bottles of pop, that you wouldn't put it in the bin, you would take it back to the grocery store and you would get a little bit of money for it. And that was enticing, because then you could buy some sweets. So, and I could never understand why England, because, I'm half. So it was just, why isn't England doing anything like this? Sweden's well in advance, where, on the bottle it says, you get 10p back for the bottle if you bring it back, or the can.
Yeah.
So, and it was just like, why? And then Sweden starts introducing, for various bins for recycling.
Yeah.
England still hasn't even started. In the supermarkets, you could bring your bottles, your cans, your plastics and stuff like that. It was just like, why? This is a Western country. Why don't they talk? Why isn't one showing the other that, look, this is what you should be doing?
Yeah, actually, I think it's amazing. I think Sweden is one of, or Scandinavia in general, is really advanced when it comes to sustainability, recycling, because they all work together. It's just the mandates, the legalities, all the stipulations, plus the people. It takes awareness. So that's what I'm saying. Awareness is very important.
But every time you're talking, I'm thinking, but what's the business plan? How are you going to, keep this sustainable in regards to income and?
Okay, I actually was. I'm putting together now workshop material.
Okay.
So I can actually conduct workshop. And we can do something interactive. Then maybe we can start with the corporate sector, and then I can start moving. This project needs a lot of time, more time than my culture and language project, because you need to really have good contacts with the authorities, good networking base. So I'm building that. I'm trying to build on that. And I want to participate in as many conferences as possible, of workshops. And this is what I want to start, how I want to do it. It's starting by doing, just really simple guidelines, pamphlets, and then moving to the strategies and the agendas. And I'm sure Qatar has been doing things.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do the calculations, I don't want to say, how many footprints is that? That's not my purpose. My purpose is, listen, you can do something.
Yeah.
Climate change is induced by human beings. You can be a part of this rectification, or as much as possible. We don't want to compromise the future of the next generations, of our children and grandchildren. We have to do something about it.
Absolutely.
There's a sense of stewardship and responsibility. We are not owners of planet Earth,
No.
and there is no planet B. There is no other planet that we're going to go and move to.
No.
So we have to feel the responsibility. This cannot go on. Overconsumption is maybe it's euphoric for a while, but it has to stop at a certain time. I'm not saying that people have to really be austere or live in scarcity, but really think twice. Do I really need that? Do I really need it? And what's wrong with actually buy secondhand Gucci? What's wrong with that? There are beautiful quality.
I know, but you're fighting, capitalism that literally lives off us.
Yeah.
Always purchasing, always, and the capitalism is marketing new products all the time for you to literally buy.
Okay, but isn't it time that we tell people, listen, think twice?
Oh, no, I'm on the same wavelength as you, so you don't have to educate me. It's the
not
audience.
Really education, it's really just raising the voice, raising the awareness. It's like a buzzstone. Catastrophes are happening in the world because of climate change, because of what we did to it,
Yes.
And to me, the environment is very important, but the human factor is more important, because that's what's inducing causing the environment to be, messed up.
Yeah.
So we have to talk to the people. We have to really tell the people, listen, look at what's happening. You never know when the next cyclone would hit.
No.
We don't know. Do we guarantee that there's nothing going to be, no catastrophes are going to happen because of the pesticides or the polyplastics or what, look at the marine biology, because of all the plastic bottles with the fish, and then it's dying, a lot of actually animals and biodiversity is going to depletion because of that.
Absolutely.
And we some people say, but this is life, it happens. We were in the ice age, but that took millions of years, Do we want to go back to the ice age? I don't know. I don't want my children or grandchildren to be in the ice age.
No, exactly. No.
So basically, I feel that there is something that can be done, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are interested in actually doing work, and some work is being done with the cleanups, and what's happening. Recycling, I don't know what happens to the recycling after that. I have no idea. I have to research it really, but I need to get in touch with more people. So this is a longer term project that needs more preparation, and I think. But I'm ready to start,
But
soon.
anyone watching and listening to this, how can they reach you in regards to, who are you looking for to connect to?
Yes, I'm looking actually for basically anybody who is willing, anybody who really wants to make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm not really limiting, because the more people, the merrier. If we get people on the authority board, hallelujah. If we get people who want to volunteer, to do stuff, to go to talk to children, to help out. And I'm open to ideas also. I mean, we can brainstorm, we can do storyboards, we can brainstorm together. One project that I really want to do is the zero food waste. And I try to approach some hotels, because it's absurd, the amount of food that is wasted in hotels, and then they say, well, we have a lot of regulations because, it has health and hygiene issues. I'm like, you don't have to put it out for 4 hours, just say from this hour to this hour, we're having this table or this tent, you are welcome to come and grab it.
No, I think, because I've been here 17 years, I know there's been initiatives in the past where people have tried to do that. But as you say, there's there's rules and regulations about the, it's safe, etc., etc. But no, things need to be done. And as you say, yeah, we're only on this planet. We're kind of visitors for this planet. We need to look after it because, it's us that will disappear, not the planet. The planet will always be here. It will sort itself out.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. And I think people, like, I've seen a lot of activism in the West, especially when I was in Sweden. I've seen social movements. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of students, a lot of unions. People are trying to do something. Some are really extremes. I'm not calling people to become vegans.
No, I know. I hear you. No, I don't see that. My only concern is with you, with regards to the energy that you bring. How are you going to look after you? Because there's only so much that the dynamo can. Yeah. Are you going to look after you? How are you going to take care of yourself? Because you are literally starting out. You're literally you're starting out at the mountain. Yes. You're going to go up that mountain. Yeah. How are you going to...
I'm not worried because I think that things will eventually happen. I'm looking for collaborations, really. I don't want to be, just do it all. That's not my purpose because I don't want the glamour. I want the effect. Yeah. I'm trying to build community. I want to build a sustainable community. As I'm building the international, multicultural, multilingual community, I want to build the sustainable community.
Yeah, do you think they will, at some point... Merge?
Why not?
Yes.
I mean, why not? Why not? It is humans are humans, If there are no rules or no regulations that say that they cannot, who knows what the future holds for us,
But isn't it amazing? What I love about this country is, like, my children go to school here, and when they have International Day, it's like 88 different types of nationalities all together in one school. And that's quite rare around the world. Yeah. When you come from the UK or Sweden, generally you've just got a few international students. But here, and I love the fact that there's so many different international students that none of the students see each other differently. They just see each other as a human being. They don't see color. They don't see, different kinds of hair, etc., etc. Like my son's got bright ginger hair, and if he was in the UK, he'd be the odd one out, and everyone would take the mickey out of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's different. Where everyone else has got brown hair or blonde hair, but ginger hair, it's just look at him. Okay. But here, because everyone's different, no one bats an eyelid. No one, takes any notice, and I love that. And I find it strange that around the world that not more of this is done, where cultures come together to learn, because culture is important to people. Of course, yeah. That's your history. That's your, your upbringing, etc. We're molded by the culture that we're brought into, but we're not all the same, and we need to learn from each other. And one culture might be, great at doing something, or need to share, and when there's that understanding, then we can understand each other better. So there'll be less conflict, because we're not judging based on our cultural beliefs, background, that we actually understand because we've taken the time to learn. Right. And that's why I'm surprised that things like you're introducing isn't more around the world.
I don't really know. I think, to me, I tend to disagree that we're not all the same. I think regardless of culture and language and the way we live,
deep down, absolutely.
We have the same needs. We have the same aspirations.
Oh, absolutely. I think. No.
Yeah.
Family. Yeah. We all love each other, love sons, daughters, mum, dads, grandparents. No, I understand that. But I mean, we are molded by the culture that we're in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. And I think this is the richness. I mean, I can't really spend 5 years and my desk mate is from a different culture and not know anything about it. I think this is really ridiculous. And like, children have a way to deal with this. They're so natural at it, they just play with anybody. And have you noticed how the kids, they can just get along so easily and quickly?
Absolutely. No, I was the same when I was growing up. I would go to Sweden and I couldn't speak a word, but you didn't need the language. It was just like, if there was a ball, you play with the ball, and you Yeah.
We lost it. I think we shaped them, the parents and the society shaped the children, so they lose this innocence and this immediate rapport, that they have. So I think we need to reintroduce something like that for the people. I think we need platforms. I am a strong believer of dialogues. I think people should talk and should have a dialogue, and they will see you will see immediate affinity and clicking when people start talking with each other.
Yeah, but not even talking, just what you just said, through play as well. We, as adults, we lose that ability to let ourselves go and play.
Yeah.
And that if you can introduce that within the, that cultural. Then it'd be great.
I think maybe this idea will develop more and more.
No, I can see that. I can feel
hope.
that. Absolutely. Well, Reena, we're running out of time now, so I really wish you all the best. Now, on the final note, where do you see? We've kind of touched on it, but where do you see yourself, let's say, in 5 years' time?
I think I see myself with building many communities, and I'm not restricting myself to Qatar either. I think this should extend, and I think these ideas should be incorporated in more places, and I am willing to cooperate with people to do things like that. And I think really it's we need the human touch again. We need to feel that things can be done, and I believe in the goodness of life, and people need to regardless of all the situations that are going on in the world, we really need to believe that there is goodness in everybody and everywhere.
Absolutely.
So I think this is where I want to be. I want to really look back and see, wow, we have built so many good communities, and there's a lot going on and a lot of interaction. I think I want to be successful in whatever I do, and I want my business to grow and flourish, not because it's only business or money making, because eventually it's all about really benefiting the community and the people and having lots of friendships that I really look forward to.
Superb. No, I feel your energy, and you are a beacon of light, so I really wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure you will be a success.
Thank you for giving me this chance to actually express myself and talk, and hopefully we will meet so many times and
Absolutely.
so often.
And you will come back on the show and give us an update on what's going on.
Hopefully, inshallah, hopefully. Thank you very much, Stefan. Thank you. Have a lovely day, and hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. You heard it from the lady. Have a great day, and we'll catch up with you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, amazing people. This concludes our journey on the Head Guide podcast, your ultimate fusion of Middle East vibes and success in both business and life. I'm Stefan Lindberg-Jones, your ever-enthusiastic guide through all things awesome. The Head Guide podcast is your exclusive pass to CEO insights, cultural adventures, and the genuine lowdown on life in the Middle East. If you've enjoyed the ride, hit that subscribe button for the most fantastic ongoing adventure. Stay tuned for more awesomeness, more insights, and more success coming your way. Let's roll into the future of the Middle East journey together.